fighting with it.
Oh, yeah? You ever heard from Billy?
You're on the punchline with Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez. And James, we will talk about that after. Um, what's up, guys? Big weekend.
Yeah.
Ready to hear all the shit that people got to say? Always fun.
So far, so good, right? We have, I don't know if we have a lot to talk about. Well, we have some to talk about, right?
Yeah. Um, I know we're going to hear a lot of crap about everything.
Dude, I cannot fucking believe the hate Canelo is getting right now.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
And
it's ridiculous.
we got some with Burrell. He says, how about these new Canelo ring walks? Yeah.
What about him?
That was, I mean, in my opinion, I just don't like that. I mean, it's nothing towards Canelo or am I mad? I just hate when they do take that long. I mean,
He did it on purpose.
that does get irritating. But as far as his fight, man, thought he did what he was supposed to do.
The problem is, though, you got people who been talking shit who he fought. He fought a number one. He fought a mandatory. I don't think a lot of these fans know what mandatory means, do they? Look, what? How much financial sense would that make for Canelo to pay step aside money to anybody who he didn't want to fight?
The big thing on it is this, and you said it. The guy that was his mandatory. It is what it is. I mean, he fought him. You're acting like Canelo hasn't fought top guys throughout his entire career. He's jumped to light heavyweight, 3 weight classes. I say this over and over. And of course, everybody now is going to say Kovalev ain't shit. It's the cornball dudes that come on these boxing groups, and some of them come on our page.
Yeah.
I seen today. I didn't even get into it on our page today, and you could just see the one-way street coming out, the shit coming out of her mouth. Nobody wants to give Canelo the credit. That's what it comes down to. Again, I said this over and over. I said right now everybody's saying for him to fight the Charlos and fight Andrade at middleweight. If he goes down to middleweight and he beats some guys, everybody's going to say, "Well, who the hell did Andrade fight? Who the hell did Charlo fight?"
Yeah.
He's a weight bully. He was fighting that light heavyweight and super middleweight. Now he's going back down to pick on the 160 pounders. If he beats people at 168, he's not going to like. It's never going to end. It's just the way it is. And again, I say it just ain't with Canelo. It's with all the fighters. No fighter, not one fighter today gets any credit. Not one fighter.
So in 73 days, he's going to fight Billy Joe Saunders now. That's unheard of. He fought his number one mandatory, and now he's fighting he wants to fight. But now Billy Joe Saunders is going to be overrated if he loses like this.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, that's we already heard a little bit of talk about that, and people, little rumblings of Billy Joe ain't that good. So Canelo definitely won't get that credit. Everybody will say, well, Canelo just exposed him. That's all he did.
The problem is a lot of times people they don't understand how they don't understand how what a mandatory means. You can't pay everybody step aside money that you don't want to fight. That comes out of your paycheck, not your promoters. It comes out of your purse. Or your pay somebody to step aside. And I don't think anybody's in the business to lose money, making money. If you're going to give me dollars to fight Yildirim and call him my number one mandatory, I'm going to fucking fight him.
Yeah, James Burrell made a good. Well, first of all, Gerard said, "See Zhang fight." I probably did, and then James Burrell said Yildirim was mandatory for Benavidez before he blew weight. Yeah. Nobody would have criticized Benavidez if he beat Yildirim up. Yep. And you're probably right.
Yep, true. Justin Nillett, Kelly, Bobby. So what's up? What's up, Bobby? Crystal's on here. Hey, Crystal, how are you? I don't know what you meant.
But no, I mean, overall, though, again, I mean, he fought. I mean, what more can you ask for? A lot of guys would have probably have took that fight and made it go longer. I mean, Canelo came out there, and it's just fun to watch him fight. I mean, everything, his punch selection, the way he puts them together. I mean, it's a treat to watch that kid fight, and I just don't understand why nobody wants to understand that, or why nobody wants to appreciate. And again, I said, I mean, Crawford wins a fight, and he's one of the pound for pound, and everybody wants to criticize him that he ain't fighting nobody. Spence, he gets shit and that he's not the best. And it's just like I said, this day and age with social media, it just seems like nobody is good enough.
Yeah. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say Canelo's the greatest Mexican fighter in history. You Julio Cesar Chavez all day, and you can throw some of these old fighters. But like, oh, Salvador Sanchez. I'm like, how do you know he was 23 years old?
Oh, let me see something here, man. My shit all. I have a hard time with this today. Let's try that there. There we go. I think that's a little better. All right.
But I was saying, I'm saying, I think he's probably one of the greatest Mexican fighters ever at this point. I'm not a big Canelo fan, but let's face it, people are going to say Julio Cesar Chavez, and we know Julio Cesar Chavez fought a lifetime of 1-6s, 2-3, 0-0s all through his career as well. And then you have guys like Salvador Sanchez, who was great, but how good was he? We always saw him till he was 23 before he passed away.
I got no argument with that. I really don't. I do not see that being a problem calling Canelo. If you're talking skill for skill,
Hills, yes,
I definitely could see that overall.
he's getting better.
Yep. Um, James Burrell said James never seen a Zorro movie. Zorro is the greatest Mexican warrior.
Yes,
That's a good argument. Um,
and Zorro was Spanish, you douche.
Gerardo the Gallant.
No,
That's true. He said at least with social media they get some attention from mostly bad, but sometimes good. It don't matter. I mean, all the other fighters before the social media era got attention too. Um, Again, it gives people the reason to talk shit and feel relevant
yeah,
that don't that otherwise. I honestly, I truly think that's what it is. I think like when people could come on social media and talk shit about other athletes, top athletes and top fighters, I think that is something that gives them it makes them feel good, like of importance, like their shit matters, and you see that all the time. I mean, if you've never seen that with any other fighters in the past,
yeah.
um, you know damn well if social media was around back then, it would be the same way too.
Where'd you get that?
What?
Where'd you get that shirt?
I've had this.
That's pretty sweet.
They
Um,
give stuff.
Sakura said, "Sure he is, but not a fan of his tactics. Doesn't make him a not great fighter just because you don't like him personally." Sakura. Um, I don't know what tactics you guys really are you talking about. What the catch weights back in the day? The kid was finding a weight, finding a way between weight classes. Let's not pretend these other fighters don't have all their bullshit. The only thing he walks in the ring, he beats people up, and he makes his money, and he goes home. Talk shit. You don't hear him media talking crazy. What more can you ask for? And he's fighting in front of him. We got Billy Joe. I wait for how or May for Billy Joe was not. He was overrated this whole time.
Uh, Warrior today said, "I think Zhang will be in trouble as he steps up in the comp." I didn't see Zhang fight. Which one? Who is that? They say he should fight Parker. I'm trying to think when did he fight? Did he fight this weekend?
Yeah,
Who did he fight?
I didn't watch the whole card. Tell you, I was in Columbus, knocked out, sick.
I know, but I mean, it was hard for me to catch all of it. But I'm trying to think who he.
These people,
I think the guy that fought Tyson Fury, he fought
yeah, the
the
German,
Southpaw.
yeah,
Saying Zhang faced Jerry Forrest. I didn't see that, and it was hard. I mean, I was bouncing between both as it is.
yeah.
And again, one's an app, one was on cable. Um, I'm just not that into it as much to follow. So I didn't see the Zhang fight, but there were some good ones. I'll tell you that.
You
Good
know,
fight.
I think the problem is here. I think Canelo is one of these fighters that people aren't going to realize how good he was until.
Oh, I see. The Chinese guy that beat Devin Vargas. All right, I know what you're talking about.
That dude.
You know what, I know what you're talking about. I think he could be all right. I don't see him beating any of the top heavyweights. I'm sorry about that. Um, I mean, he's a good fighter though. I think he'll be a guy to make some noise. I think he'll be a good test for contenders coming up.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, I do not see him right now um, beating Joshua. I don't see him beating Fury. I don't see him beating Ruiz um, or Wilder. I hate to say it, but I just don't see that.
No, I don't either. I don't see much of it.
Um, yeah, going real quick, we might as well just tap on the Canelo thing. But yeah, I don't see people won't. It'll be too late when they give him credit. I mean, again, the guy, what he's done so far, and he has fought the top guys. And it's just funny. Everybody talks about him fighting somebody, but who? And we brought this up before. But like, who is the people that they want him to fight? Who are they fighting to get that? Like, but they won't dare say anything about that. And
Let's be honest. Caleb Platt fought a guy that was garbage last fight. Andrade hasn't fought anybody, right? Benavidez hasn't fought me about a year. Um, Bivol has. These guys are they're complaining about the one dude who.
I know,
That makes no sense. If Canelo wasn't fighting, you have nothing to watch.
I agree. I mean, look at the list of guys that has already fought. It's just, I mean, it's never going to end, and it's just over and over and over. So,
Hey Kelly, Kerry Bradshaw's on here, our buddy from IOTVA. What's up, bro? How you doing?
what's going on, Kerry?
Yeah, what's up, bro? Is it my Wi-Fi, Sakura? It might be. I don't know. I
Uh,
don't.
James Burrell says Zhang knocked Forrest down in each of the first three rounds, and then gassed, ended in a draw. Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. I heard that actually. My brother told me about the fight, but I did see that Zhang fight. Actually, I seen him fight twice.
Look,
Um, I thought actually he didn't do even that well with Vargas. I wasn't impressed. Square Table Degenerate says James' audio is choppy. Yeah,
is it?
yeah.
Let me
Um,
check it. Oh, hold on. Give me a minute. I'll come back. Let me check it. Let me turn it on. Let me turn my. Let me change settings.
who else fought? Oh, the Andre Durrell. I've seen that fight. There was a guy. I don't know what he's going to end up doing. I mean, I like him. I think he's was a good fighter.
Yeah.
But I think he's seen some of his time. I don't know, not being mean when I say this, but what his goal is in the sport still. Maybe one more title shot, but I think he's at the age and the way he's as active as he's been is where somebody could get hurt too. Though 36 years old, fought only a couple times in the last 3 years.
All right. How's it now?
Better.
All right. No, we just got this post here. I can't find it from Philip. Um, he was Philip. Oh, Philip said something about here. I gotta pull that up again. Shit. Um, Philip was saying basically, how could Yildirim be mandatory for Canelo? Call him one on one. Be able to call him mandatory. That doesn't fall on Canelo. That falls on the. I know this, that falls on that same who said mandatory. Canelo just doing fighting his mandatories. We can't hold the fighter responsible. Who the number one is? Now Canelo was like, "Oh, I'm gonna pay him step aside money and fight somebody else." And yeah, but he's not doing that. That falls on the WWE and the community allowing that. Canelo.
I've heard Canelo 3 times in your whole rant.
Really?
That's all.
I don't know. Tell you, man. Let me check something else. Hold on. Shit.
Yeah, I seen on the page today. Somebody was talking about I think it was on the Punchline page. They're like,
Yeah,
yeah, they feel bad. I don't know if they were talking about the Punchline, like us on our opinions on Canelo, uh, or if they were talking about Canelo.
yeah.
Yeah, there ain't much coming up on the.
I gotta find out where we were at. Fuck. Where's that little bubble? Where? I don't know where I'm at. Shit. Can you hear me better?
So far, yeah.
But I just gotta find that little number where Justin had me called in at.
Who fights this weekend? Is there any big fights coming up?
Was that?
I
Uh,
want
I don't think there's much next week. Hey,
Gerard Gallen said weird. Looked like the zone aired multiple arenas on the same card. You
yeah,
know what? I noticed something a little different with that too. Um, I'm not sure on that though. Gerada says Canelo, you could have one. Canelo, you could have 100 wins. I don't know what that's going on. Ricky said that. Yeah, I think he believed
all
said
right.
Zane couldn't fight after 4 rounds.
No, I don't. I don't. Is you know one thing I can't understand why they do that. They put a bunch of the same weekend. I think they're losing money. They think they're beat each other, but they're losing money.
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to go and switch back and forth either. Like from an app, the app, I got to go to a different input, and then I got to go
Yeah.
back to the thing. My son wants to watch a basketball game with me. I'm going to watch that. Like, I mean, I understand that I am a host of a podcast show. But at the same time, dude, the meaningful fights that I'm going to watch is what counts. So we can come back and talk about it. But I mean, I've done that. I've done that sometimes where I've had to fight on my phone on the zone, and I had ESPN Plus and Fox going back and forth between channels, and it is too. I mean,
Well, I think
I ain't getting paid to do that shit, so that's a lot.
I think that's a lot of reason a lot of people are on the show. They can talk about the fight. You know?
What's that?
A lot of people watch the show so they can talk about the fights how they saw them too.
Yeah. Um, It's
Yeah.
off. No one bought the pay per view. It's off. No one bought the pay per view. I don't know about what happened there.
I don't know. Well, it was because the zone. We didn't need to. It came on people pay per view. If you had the zone, you didn't have to buy it.
Well, I keep getting this here, and I'm not understanding it. Do you think Canelo UD end up having 100 wins with a question mark?
What?
I don't. I'm not, do I think he could end up having 100 wins? Um,
Yes.
the way he's put is really hard to read, but I think he. Why couldn't he?
Yes.
Personally, I don't think he's going to fight that long to have him.
No.
Jake Miller asked a little bit ago, Logan Paul, or somebody asked about the Logan Paul Mayweather fight,
Yeah.
and oh yeah, Square Degenerate podcast. Logan Paul fight is off because the pay per view did not sell well. Yeah,
Philip. Philip. It's not Canelo's matchmaker. It's the sanctioning body. It's not his matchmaker. His matchmaker has Golden Boy had nothing to do with that. His
yeah,
sanctioning body. The
that's what
W.
people don't understand. Yeah, it's not that ain't nothing to do with the promoter. That's coming down when you keep. That's why you keep hearing the mandatory. That's not the promoter pushing that. The mandatory is the sanctioning body like mainly the WBC pushing that. That's who the
They're ranking.
WBC wants you to fight that guy. That's why they say the number one mandatory. No one the promoter has no say in who's mandatory. That's the sanctioning body who does the rankings. Now, can a promoter influence some of the rankings through the organizations? Maybe a little bit of money and shit. Fuck
Yeah.
yeah, but let's not get it all twisted. At the end of the day, that fight was picked by the sanctioning body, by the WBC.
So is the beef with Grand Champion or sanctioning body? The beef is with the sanctioning body. It's not the champion. Canelo. Canelo, if he sold a fight, if he said, but fight Benavidez, he's your number one contender, he has a choice. He could take the fight, or he could pay Benavidez $2 million or $3 million. That was the options. But why would you? Me, I would not step aside on a $10 million payday. I never heard of.
Yeah. I think next week we're going to talk with Justin. I think we may do the go back to studio.
I'm hoping so.
We won't have some of these.
Sakura, I agree with you. It's to watch all these outs, and I mean, I don't know who's that kind of. It's an 8 hour day to watch everything. Burn out on it.
But I didn't understand what he said. What was he asking?
Oh, Sakura was just saying that it's just too much to watch all these fights at one time. Sakura said that it's too much for her to watch.
Especially on the same when they're on the same night. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, can you go back and watch them all? Yeah, but dude, sorry. I mean, I don't. I'm not. That's not going to be my weekend with everything I got going. Is sit there and watch. And today, I mean, I was 3.5 hours today with my son at wrestling. I
yeah.
mean, it's,
Um, Derek Collinsworth, good buddy, good, very good trainer, said, on a good note, my Walter Quentin Randall, 7-0 on the next Triller show. Pro Racer on Red main event. That's really good. Hey, that's so awesome, Derek. Proud of you. That's great. But, I don't know. I think next level start playing who your opponents.
and there was hella fights this weekend. Yeah, there were some good ones, and there were some anymore that I just I don't have a hard time with some of them.
The problem with like the zone, they put like 16 fights up a night. 16 fights. It starts at like 5 o'clock.
I know. A lot of cars are doing that anymore. I don't know if they're trying to get all their guys in, if it's the
Yeah.
to build their stable up, but dude, it's a lot. I mean,
You know what makes me miss?
I'm not being mean. If somebody can sit there and watch all them fights,
Yeah. Do you know what makes
I'm not gonna because people will get mad. But uh,
You know what make you know what I miss? I miss the Don King shows where you'd have all 8 fights would be championship fights. That's what I miss.
Don King used to when Tyson was fighting. Though he used to do some pretty shitty ones as well.
But Don King would have Tyson. He'd have Terry Norris. He'd have fucking Pernell Whitaker. He'd have Vito Lopez. He'd have Christy Martin. All cards all in one time. Felix Trinidad.
Gerard and the Giants said, I feel like the zone don't air all of them too. They may not. So wait a minute, I'm trying to think. So with Tyson, like a couple of fights before he fought Buster Douglas,
Yeah.
I was young, so maybe I wasn't realizing the fights. But
Dude, I was only 13.
well, were them guys fighting on those before the Buster Douglas time?
What was the other fighters?
Yeah, all them good fighters.
Oh no.
I was gonna say.
None of them. They were people,
Yeah.
early late 80s. But no, like busted. I don't undercard of Mike Tyson busted. I watched it the next morning on videotape because had to go to bed. I was like 12 or 13.
Mm-hmm. Gerard said, I hear Mike Tyson Triller is hosting Cambosa Tia Lopez. Yeah.
Right?
Is Mike Tyson part of that Triller, or who is that? Who has that? I don't think Mike Tyson is a part of that. I think he got on there, but I think Mike Tyson and them have the. I think he's working with the Legends. What's that called? I think he's working with the Legends thing that they're doing. Triller, I think, is a totally different, separate business who hosted the Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, but I don't think Mike Tyson has anything to do with that. Or you would have seen it.
Yeah. Hey
Uh,
Kelly, if you had it, I want to thank everybody for the condolence. Uncle Todd, who passed away. It means a lot to me. He passed away pretty unexpectedly, so I want to thank everybody for all the kind stuff for my uncle passing away, and also for me being sick for the past month. I think I got it. I think I'm feeling better today. So I've been feeling better a couple of days, so we'll see. But I for that,
Man, sorry about that again, man.
it's all right. I dedicate this show to my uncle.
Um,
He's a brag buddy.
yeah, they're just still talking. Gerada, Snoop Dogg commentates. Yeah, but again, I don't think it's Mike Tyson's thing. I think it's a entertainment business. I was reading on it a little bit, so
Sakura says, "Don't you hate when you have boxing? Don't you have a bunch of boxing on one weekend and then nothing for 2 weeks?" I do. I mean, why can't they just piece it out little bit little? They want to give you 300 shows and for 2 weeks nothing.
yep. I
And
don't know
too, Derek.
if they're trying to compete with each other, if they're trying to hurt
Yeah,
each other's ratings, which at the end of the day don't make any sense. I don't know.
hot for everybody.
Listen,
Derek,
I know a lot of these promotional companies go at each other, but also a lot of these promotional companies been working with each other for how long now? And you would think somebody would sit down and kind of like run their schedule past this person at this company, and then this person at this company will call PBC, and then maybe PBC will call somebody, and they would all kind of come together and say, "Hey, look, this is what we got going on. Here's our dates. What do you think?" And work it out. I mean, I agree, but it's crazy.
shit, the Hell's Angels don't have nothing on sanctioning bodies. You know what I mean? Don't have nothing on these sanctioning bodies and these different things like fight to the death.
Now, so maybe we can talk about a good one coming up. We got,
You got Hooker and Virgil.
yep, excited about that one. It's going to be a big fight. It's going to be a big fight for Virgil.
Yeah. How do you think how do you think that's going to follow? What do you think's going to happen there?
Oh, I think Virgil's going to win. I think 7, 8 rounds, and it's going to be a breakout fight. I think after this fight, though, I think you're going to see him in there with the mix, or his name being tossed in there for a fight. I really do. I think now that after this Hooker fight, that you will start hearing Ortiz Crawford, Ortiz Spence, Ortiz
Order.
Porter,
Carson.
Ortiz Thurman, Pacquiao. I think you will start
Well,
hearing.
Thurman's been offered that fight twice already. Thurman's back. Thurman turned it down. I don't
Yeah,
I get that.
but no, what I'm saying, yeah, no, he'll probably turn it down again. But at this point,
Yeah.
it's a different fight. Um, at that point, so
I think, you know what? I'm taking Virgil between 7 in this fight. Sakura says he's a Virgil fan. I'll see Hooker without being trained. It's true, because I like Hooker too. Sakura, I agree. I agree with you. I like Hooker too, but Virgil has a little too much firepower.
and listen, if Hooker loses this fight, it don't mean it's the end of the road for him, and not at all.
Thank you, Sakura. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your condolences. Derek says Billy Joe is a real threat for Canelo. Oh, I agree. I think he is a threat. I don't think he's a serious threat. I think, but the problem is, here's what I see, Derek. Billy Joe is like half the package when it comes to defense. He'll throw, but he's never in range to make you pay. He'll make you miss, but he's not pay. He's always out of range, and that's always going to be serious because Canelo makes you miss, and he always makes you pay. And I think that's the big difference between them. And I don't think Billy Joe has enough power to keep Canelo.
You know what I like about Canelo that he does is Canelo just don't make you miss and make you pay. Canelo, like Lomachenko was another one that did it. They make you pay while your punches are still in midair.
Yeah,
Sometimes they're throwing while you're still throwing, and
yeah,
that sucks.
dude, that uppercut was a thing of beauty. Those two shots of body and an uppercut right at the middle.
Yeah, he blinded him with that. Actually, what's his name? Blinded himself. Yildirim. He blinded himself with that right hand.
Yeah. So was it to quit or was I think Gilliam quit that fight?
I think he quit. I think it was a mixture. I think when um, Diaz was asking him if he wanted to continue, he
Nothing was
wasn't he wasn't giving no yes or yes or no back,
no.
and his corner wasn't really saying anything, and I think that's where he just kind of came in, was like, "Stop it."
Yeah. Yeah, Chocolatico Estrada is going to go into Texas for that too. Yeah, Chocolatico and Estrada. Chocolatico's been looking good, but Estrada's amazing. So I don't have a. I'm a 50 on that fight. Are you?
Derek said he had to switch over. I don't know if it's any better. Derek, let me know for the connection. Yildirim looked lost in there. He did. He didn't look lost as much as more hesitant because he didn't. He was afraid to throw because every time he threw, he got hit.
Yeah. Sakura said last great fight for BJ was David Lemieux, and right, I agree. That's because David's there to be. He's not going anywhere. David's not going to make anything. He's going
Yeah, I think you should look good against
Lemieux.
Lemieux, especially if you're going to be if you want to be at the top level, if you're going to be the top of your weight class, or
I
if you're going to be a good champion, you got to.
I've never been impressed with Billy Joe Saunders.
Gerard has said, I feel Joel Diaz didn't want Yildirim out there anymore. I agree. I think it was mutual between the fighter and the trainer. So
Well, he told him I'm going to give you one more round. He said it 4 or 5 times, and he never responded. The
yeah,
way he said it, to me, I was like, he don't want to come out.
and I like that Diaz. I mean, Diaz. He knows he's a fighter.
Yeah,
Diaz
good.
knows. I mean, he's not playing around. He knows how crazy it could get, and
Yeah.
he could see that. If he didn't do something in that round, if he did come out and he didn't do anything, that the fight wasn't going to change.
Thank you, Steven. Appreciate it. Yeah, that was a long time with Sakura. That shows you how often Billy Joe fights.
Yeah,
Oh, Joe Diaz,
but
I
yeah,
think
good shit.
underrated trainer. He's one of the better trainers in boxing. And Joe Diaz had Virgil Ortiz first. Remember, before Robert Garcia.
Yeah, he's a good trainer.
Yes, I think what it is. I think Joel Diaz is too offensive minded for some trainers. He doesn't push defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for the Ortizes, you need to push. They want to be defensively responsible too, and that didn't work for them. And the Diaz's.
Soap Boxing Podcast goes real slick boxer, but I agree. Billy doesn't plant for shoots.
Yep.
Canelo has to attack body like he's been doing and lead rights. Well, if you're talking about Canelo versus Saunders, I see Canelo just tearing that body open. I don't think Saunders, first of all, has anything that's going to
Yeah.
worry Canelo as far as power. And you'll be very surprised. I know Billy Joe Saunders got good footwork, but Canelo will neutralize that. And
Yeah.
that body, I mean, he'll actually, I think Saunders will end up moving into one of them body shots. I don't see Saunders winning that fight.
No, I don't either.
I mean, I actually, believe it or not, I see Canelo stopping him in around 7 or 8 rounds, maybe 9.
About 9, yeah.
Yeah, I think he stops Billy Joe. Billy Joe, I'm sorry. I'm just, my opinion, I'm not impressed with him. I don't think he's that good of a fighter. I mean,
No,
is he, or I shouldn't say a fighter. I think he's a good fighter. I just don't think, as far as on a championship level, that he's that good.
but let's be honest. The United Kingdom, they have a way to hype their fighters. They love hyping these fighters up, and when they get here, they really show they're not as advertised for the most part. I mean, there's always that exception like Joe Calzaghe.
Yeah, you're talking about one. I mean, I'm not going to be mean. Ricky Hatton uh, didn't really. I mean, it's just it is what it is. We've seen the last in the last 3 weeks, we've seen two of the top guys not only get beat but get destroyed.
Yeah,
Uh, I'm not knocking. I got a lot. I got a lot of respect for the UK fans. I really do. Uh, well, Soapboxing said, except the Big Gypsy. Yeah. Now there's your guys' next Calzaghe.
yeah. Hey, Kelly, you have a question by Stephen Casper, one of our good friends, Stephen Casper. He said, Kelly, would you prefer a trainer that is a good teacher, or would you prefer just a trainer?
Oh, you want a teacher? You want somebody that's okay. Let me take that back. Um, a good teacher is really important for the beginning of of building a fighter. And past that, don't get me wrong. I mean, taking them up. Now, there's a little different scenario when you already have a fighter that's
That,
formed and been doing it for such a long time. Do they still help? Hell yeah, because they're going to be the ones that are really explaining to you in training camp for a fight, and
yeah.
they're the ones. But so I mean, yeah, it's great to have it overall. It's just a little different though because what I'm going with that is depending on the fight and the fight situation. You got literally 8 weeks, 9 weeks sometimes with camp. Maybe you might go in a little earlier, 10 weeks because it's a new trainer, and it's not a lot of time in that first fight, but over a period of time, yeah, a teacher is somebody who's going to, when he shows you something, he's going to explain to you why. He's going to, especially against the opponent you're going against, he'll explain why you're doing this. Everything he's showing you for a reason. Um, and then you got trainers that just go in and kind of tell you the obvious, like what you're doing wrong. And you know that helps because sometimes as a fighter you don't see maybe some things that you're doing wrong. But overall, a teacher, hell yeah, you want somebody that's going to tell you exactly why you got to do something and what could happen if you don't.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I agree.
Canelo help
No,
fight.
for a long time, there's a lot of trainers in the world, but there's not a lot of teachers anymore.
No, there ain't. There's a lot of people that just want to look fancy on the hand pads.
Yeah, there's not a lot of educators anymore. There's not a lot of Manny Stewart's left. You know?
Not the opposite. I don't give a shit about my hand work. My hand work, you're not going to see 4 or 5 punch combos on my hand work if I'm working with somebody. I'm
Uh,
going to be explaining to them the most realistic things that happens in a fight.
yeah,
So, Brada gave Canelo a hell of a fight. Talk about Lara.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Gerard saying that. That was quite a while ago. Yeah, he did. But I mean, and Lara, that's when Lara was a phenomenal fighter, and Canelo was young, and that's not making an excuse. But I mean, are we just going to keep going off of that? You know, I mean,
Was he done for?
we could go back and talk about. Let's say I know people piss people off. Hagler lost 2 fights early in his career, but y'all got him the greatest of all time. Um, just saying, I don't know why what that has to do with anything.
He lost a guy who sucked.
That's what I'm talking about. So, but times were different back then. You know, that's why.
Times were different. Guys didn't fight with just
That
this.
wasn't your average journeyman. Square Table goes. They opened up the Rocket Mortgage Field House in Cleveland to events now. So hopefully they book a boxing match because going to a fight would be sweet. Yeah, you know what I like to see there? I like to see Porter fight there.
Yeah,
Love
with
to, I know he resides out of Vegas in Vegas now, but you know, bring Porter back to Cleveland.
yep. Well, I'm sure Easter will be back that way too to Cleveland.
Yeah. So it goes. Lara won maybe 3 rounds. I still don't get those who thought he was robbed. What we saying Billy will do.
I,
It's a different Canelo now than what you're talking about though. Than the
yeah,
Canelo that fought Lara. It's a totally different
that's
Canelo.
like 23 fights ago, isn't it?
What's that?
That's like 23 fights.
It might have been.
Yeah, I agree. Because boxers need to know why they're doing things, and that's something like the old school traders, like for me, Manny Stewart would did. He explained why you need to do this, and if you did, what would happen? Not just do it because I said to do it, which you get a lot of now.
Yep. Cleveland 216, the land. Yep. Good old Cleveland. Your square table. Canelo is a goat. I don't know. Yeah, well, anything could happen.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, Canelo does all the southpaws. He just did one. He just did one in fight for laughs. I don't think. I think when you get to a certain level in the sport, it doesn't matter anymore about southpaws or not southpaws. They learn to overdo. I mean, if you have a guy in a 60 fight career already. He fight a southpaw. There's something wrong.
Yeah, right. James, you in the chat made me check my nostalgic memories. So I have learned something from the punchline.
What's that?
I don't know. Canelo's only loss was to Mayweather.
Yes, it was a big loss, and it was a legit loss.
Yeah, it was.
But let me what for me, I have Floyd the greatest fighter in history. That's just me. I have Floyd the greatest fighter.
Hell yeah.
And if any argue that, fine. But really not too many people who can argue why he didn't be.
But ain't that funny? Hardly no one, and I say this, hardly no one gives Mayweather the credit either.
No, they
He's
don't.
another one that has fought uh, Bonds and guys like that, and the guys weren't that good. I mean, you can't win today. That's where I'm going with it. You can't win.
Do, do you know who gives Floyd Mayweather credit? The people that fought him. They see how good he was. Watching him on TV doesn't do justice to how good he was in the ring. I imagine. I never fought him, but I'm saying there has to be a difference. There's a difference when they say, "Oh, like when you fought Taylor." See, it's one thing, but actually being in there is a whole different world.
Yep. James Brawl says Canelo versus the '85 Bears. The Bears.
Ditka by 7.
Remember, fighters bigger than they were. Uh, Square Table says 1985 Bears now or then. It'd have to be then.
And
They would not be as good now.
the Bears now would have jacked 85 Bears up.
Oh fuck yeah! Wouldn't even be a game. Uh,
Hey, the refrigerator Perry was just an average lineman. Now he's an average lineman.
it really is. That's
Yeah,
sad. Remember,
three,
I remember I
three,
had that article where
three,
that they
three,
broke it down.
30. That's a big lineman. That was the only one.
Square Table says Canelo wasn't born yet, so I'm going with the '85 Bears. That's true. How old
Yeah,
is Canelo now?
30. So what make him born? 87, 88,
So,
87 probably.
uh, hell, he's still got 5 more years.
Yeah.
Because remember when Fridge boxed Manute Bull in the celebrity boxing? I do remember that. Actually, I was just watching that about a month and a half ago on YouTube.
Did you ever watch? Did you watch Austin
Yeah, I did.
and Shane Mosley and Shaq?
Yeah. Shane Moses was going in on Shaq a little bit.
Oh, Shane was.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Oscar was going out on too.
That was funny. Poor Shaq. I seen Shaq go against one of those MMA jiu-jitsu guys, black belts.
Yeah. Damn. I don't know how you wrap that big ass leg up. You know what I mean?
It's unrealistic. I was thinking back, and now, mind you, I was only 170 pounds then. But
Yeah.
I remember when I met Shaq, I'm just going,
Hey, Kelly, Philip,
wow.
would you be up for a match with Frock? Just asking.
Now?
Yeah.
No.
Frock? Yeah, you're about, what are you, about 235 right now?
What's that?
You're about 235 right now, 230?
Me? No. I'm like 245.
Oh, shit. I said 200.
Mm-mm. Oh, I'm going to get down to 235 here eventually. On one cold
Dude,
rainy day.
I gained like 30 pounds out of the whole month. Just that way, just that fast. Just being on those steroids they had me on steroids that whole month. You know those prednisones?
Yeah. Ugh.
Just,
Well, guys, that was a good show. We're at the 45-minute mark. We'll be back to the hour probably when we get back to studio.
in the studio next week, right?
Possibly, that's a good possibility next week.
Yeah.
Um, but I want you guys to go and like, share, and subscribe. And go to the Punchline fight page on Facebook.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, and share.
Yep. Well, guys, we'll see you next week.
All right, guys. See you soon.